What's up, party people? G5 Productions in the place to be. Superman First Class in the mix. Today we're gonna set up a two-color light show with the FlareCon Air. Let's get it. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Gerald here, excited to share with you guys once again. Shout out to my good buddy Michael out in California. And I just wanted to make this video because he's been asking, so here it is, man. I'm gonna do a step-by-step guide to how to set up a two-color light show with the FlareCon Air, and I hope to make it as simple as possible. So without further ado, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, to keep up with all the new videos, all you gotta do is rock that bell. Now let's set up the two-color light show with the FlareCon Air. So here we go, party people. Already done a preliminary work to connect the tablet to the FlareCon, and the FlareCon is already transmitting to the lights because they're set to receive on the same channel that the FlareCon is transmitting on. Other things that you got to know though is that this light here is set to DMX channel 1, and this light over here is set to DMX channel 7. So if you have more lights than what I have in the video, set half of them to DMX channel 1, the other half to DMX channel 7. However, you should set all of your lights to 6-channel mode. So in the app, you have to match to 6-channel mode as well. So now let's go ahead and talk about what's going on inside the app. Okay, everybody, so right off the back, we're gonna verify any shows that we already have created. So it looks like we have one show created. And to start the video fresh, I'm simply going to delete that show by pressing the delete button, hit the X, and then that show is going to go away. So there it is. So now we have 9 different buttons here, all grayed out, meaning there are no shows created. So let's hit the back arrow, and then we're gonna go into the Freedom Power Hex 4s because those are the lights that we're going to actually program here at the moment. So there they are right there, Freedom Power Hex 4. And now that we're in, we're going to make sure that we're in 6-channel mode right there. And of course, we have address starting on channel 1 because the first light is on DMX address 1. And we have 2 lights, so that's the count, 2 lights. So now as I turn on the bar here, any color I pick, like the red, it's going to affect both lights because I selected the count 2. So simply to change the other light to a different color, what I have to do here is arrow back and then simply change the count to 1, and we're going to pick a new color, which is going to be green since we're preparing for Christmas. So to save this as a scene, what I have to do is arrow back, and then above the color bar we have this plus sign with the circle around it. So I'm going to press that, and we're going to save this to scene number 1. And notice that the box next to scene number 1 is blank, so you can count that as 0, so to speak, right? And the scene time, it's set to 5 seconds in my case, so I'm just going to leave it there. And the fade time is set to 2 seconds. I'm just going to leave it there and press the add new button. So let's press add new, and we have our first scene. So to reset, I'm going to go back to 2 on the count, go in here to the color bar, and I'm going to simply turn that off. Okay, so when I arrow all the way back to the very first thing, which is the shows, I'm simply going to now verify that I've in fact successfully created a show. So as you can see here, we have the blue button on number 1 highlighted, meaning we did create a show. So when I press it, it's going to just basically open up the scene I created. Now I haven't created a second step within the show, or scene as the app calls it. It's just simply a static green and red show. So just take note of that. Now what we're going to do is add a second step into the show. So we're going to stop it, which turns the lights off. We're going to arrow back. We got to now go back into our Freedom Power Hex 4 right here and select it. So we are now in 6-channel mode still. We have address starting on 1, and we have the count on 2. So the first time we did this, we had both lights starting on red, but this time I'm going to start both lights on green, and we're going to arrow back. We're going to change the count to 1, and then we're going to go now to the color bar and change it to red. Okay, so what we're got to do now is save this to scene 1, but this is going to be step 2. So here we go. Press the circle with the plus sign right there. So scene 1, and now that you can see next to it, it says 1 right there. We're going to leave the scene time and the fade time the same, and we're going to add new. If I were to press update, it's just going to overwrite what I already programmed. So we're going to add new, meaning we're adding another step to the current scene. And to verify it, let's just go back to our count, change it to 2, go into our color bar, and turn the lights off. And we're going to go all the way out to our shows, and we're going to press show. And we're going to wait for the show the highlight, which is number 1. And now we are going to press it. So every few seconds, if I did this right, it should change. So there's the color change. And the scene time is for 5 seconds. The fade time is for 2 seconds. So that's why it has that hue. I think the fade time is for 1 second. But either way, that's the change that we've created. So this is a dual light color scene that changes. So if you want a static scene, you could just create that as I did the first time. And then if you want a changing dual color scene, you could do what I did in the second step of the recording process. So to not be confused, let's just go ahead and do this one more time, but really, really fast, okay? So first I'm going to stop the show. We are going to delete this scene. So I have no scenes. Here we go. We're going to go up to our light fixture selections, and I'm going to select the Freedom Par Hex 4s. So there they are. I'm in 6-channel mode. My starting address is on channel 1, and my count is 2 because I have 2 light fixtures. So now what I'm going to do is go into my color bar and select the color red, which makes both lights turn red. I'm going to then arrow back, and then I'm going to change my count to 1, and I'm going to go back into the color bar, and now I'm going to select the color green. Now that I have 2 lights at 2 colors, I'm simply going to arrow back 1 time, and above the color bar, I do have a plus sign with the circle around it. I'm going to press that, and we are creating scene 1 with a 0 next to it. I'm going to set my scene time for 5 seconds. If you want to change it for longer, you can highlight the number and change it. And my fade time is going to be 2 seconds. If you want to change it longer, you can in fact change it by typing in the number you want. But we're just simply now going to add new. So add new creates the first step in scene 1. So we're going to go into the count, change it to 2, go to green here, and that accesses the color selections. So we're going to hit black to turn it off, arrow all the way out to the show. And here's the show. We wait for it to come up, takes a second. And when we press the first show, we have just created a static scene of 2 colors. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to program another show on button number 2 here. So we're going to hit number 1 to turn it off, go all the way out, select the Freedom Par Hex 4s. So there they go. We are still in 6-channel mode. The address starts on channel 1 and the count is 2. So let's go here, and I'm going to select green. I'm going to arrow back, change the count to 1. We're going to pick the colors again, and we're going to change it to red. I'm going to arrow back. I'm going to press the circle with the plus in it right there. And we're going to save this one to scene number 2. And notice that scene number 2 box next to it is blank, right? I'm still going to leave my scene time to 5 seconds. with a fade time of 2 seconds and add new. Now, I'm not going to verify scene 2 just yet, but what I am going to do is I'm going to go to the count here and change it to 2. Select my color of red, because the first time I started with green, then red. Now I'm starting with red and now green. So let's arrow back, change the count to 1, open up my color bar there and select green. And what I'm going to do now is arrow back 1. There's that circle with the plus. We're going to press it. And we are now on scene 2. And now it says 1 in the box next to it. So I'm going to add new. If I were to hit update, it's just going to override what I did in the first step. So I just want to add new. And there it is. And I'm going to change my count back to 2. Go into my color bar here and select black to turn it off. Now let's arrow all the way out to where the shows are. And there's the show button. So now 1 and 2 should come up. Remember, show number 1 is a static scene. It doesn't do anything but just remain 2 colors. But show number 2 here is a dual color that changes places between the 2 lights. So there it is. In 5 seconds, it changes scenes, and it takes 2 seconds to hue between the scenes. So there's the example right there. And if someone to say wanted something like faster, now we're going to go into how to edit this scene, right? So let's say for the sake of editing, I thought that scene number 2 is a bit slow and I wanted to go to party mode. Well, here's how you do it. Right above it in the middle, you have an edit selection, which changed both of these scenes yellow. I'm going to select number 2 here. And then you notice the 2 steps. So those were my alternating colors. Remember, it was red, then green. And then step 2 was green, then red. So what I'm going to do is set these steps to say 1 second apiece. And I'm going to make a fade time of 0. So that way there's absolutely no fade, and every 1 second the scene is now just going to swap colors between the 2 lights. So say OK, turn on scene 2, and every 1 second it's just going to swap just like that, right? Now, if you really wanted that super fast, then watch this. We're going to turn off the show, hit edit, select number 2. We're going to say step 1 is going to be 0, and we're going to say step 2 is going to be 0 as well. There's no fade time, so this means when I say OK, this is going to be super fast. So I'm now going to press scene number 2, and that is just like way too much candy on my brain right there, right? So just to give you guys some examples of how you can manipulate the scenes once you record them, there it is. But for the sake of not being weird, I'm going to go ahead and edit scene 2 to something more reasonable. So we're going to set that back to, say, let's do 3 seconds. So we'll do a 3-second scene time. We'll go to step 2 and we'll say 3 seconds in there. And we'll do a fade time of say 1 second for both. So every 3 seconds it's going to take 1 second to fade. So say OK, and here's your new scene. So basically I'm just editing the scene, and that's how it's going to go if I just leave that turned on like so. And if somebody were to say start speaking and you don't want any distractions with the lights because it just needs to be calm for the moment, then all you need to do is press number 1, because remember, that's the static scene we created, and it doesn't do anything but stay where it's at. So that's it. So there it is, party people. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you want to keep up with new videos, all you got to do is rock that bell. I'm Gerald with G5 Productions, and to learn more about us, all you got to do is visit www.g5productions.com. Let's party.